Hello, and welcome to the How to Exit podcast, where we introduce you to a world of small to medium business acquisitions and mergers. We interview business owners, industry leaders, authors, mentors, and other influencers with the sole intent to share with you what it looks like to buy or sell a business. Let's get rolling.
So we actually, the first business that I ever acquired was a gymnastics gym in Lake Tahoe, funny enough. And we bought that gym in 2003, I want to say, and we had it through to about 2014 where we sold it. We sold it for a little bit more than what we purchased it for, but with inflation and everything, it probably was a loss. And we bought it mainly because we just wanted to get out. We did what a lot of people do when they're trying to get out of a business. We sold it when we were just desperate to get out, which probably wasn't the right thing to do. And I did actually. The funny thing is just before, and you know where this is going to go, just before the Great Recession, we actually had an offer to purchase the gym, which was like 3 times as much as we ultimately sold it for, because the gym was doing well. But because we didn't want to sell it, we were all funny about it, and we got it, and we kind of peed off the guy who offered, and we should have taken that, and it would have been a great move, because then the next year everything crashed and things became difficult. So we did that. During that period and all the difficulties through the Great Recession, I really felt alone and felt troubled as to how to get through. And there was not a lot of people out there helping. The internet was kind of still somewhat just percolating along. There wasn't that. YouTube had only been in existence in 2009 for about 4 years. Like, the failures that most business owners see and the difficulties that they have are usually self-imposed.
Oh,
right?
yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, and usually when they come to us going, I need this and I need that, and all these people have failed me, and I need this and I need that. And we kind of walk through with them that, hey, look, let's dig into what these past failures, what's caused it. Let's find out what's going on. We will show you what you should be doing based on 110 other clients. And, we've had more clients than that, the learnings that we've had over the last 10 years. And then there's some people and there's some clients that and even the ones that are successful and have been with us for years, at the beginning, there's always a little bit of a wrestling match. And usually if you work with us past the 4-month period, we won the wrestling match, and you kind of submitted, and they've gone, okay, let's listen to what you guys have to say. The ones that leave, usually we haven't been able to get them to submit, and we haven't been able to get them to realize that maybe there's some things that they can do better. Because one thing I really am very passionate about is that profitability number. I use ChatGPT a lot, and I know people are like, oh, ChatGPT. No, you know what? ChatGPT is really good if you do it right. And I've been training my ChatGPT. My ChatGPT is an English woman named Jane, who comes from a town called Plaxtall in Kent, England, which happens to be where my dad was born. Because I said to my dad, we can do a background for my ChatGPT,
Yep.
and he was like, oh, well, that's great. I was like, what do you think it should be? So he basically gave it his background, but it happens to be an English woman named Jane. Anyway, Jane has been taught over the last year everything about my business, and this might be a scary thing for some, but I'm like, who cares? I'm just going to embrace it and see what happens. What's the worst that can happen? But we'll see, because I'm literally giving loads of knowledge and lots of information that I have about my business, to the point that I can go on there and say, make me a bio, and it makes me a bio, and it covers everything. It knows that I've got kids, knows I've got my wife, knows what I'm interested in, blah blah blah, because I've been teaching it. I'm writing a book on it. It's getting all that information. I give it my thoughts. One of the things that I love about it from a learning standpoint is that you can talk to it, on your app. There's that little, you just hold down the button and it will have a conversation with you like you're talking to a person, and it will have a verbal conversation, but then it will write it all down.
Yep.
And I can actually talk about, hey, what's the best way to do this? What do you recommend this? And then it will start talking about it, and I can interrupt and say, well, hey, what did you just say there? Can you tell me a little bit more about that? And it will start talking. And it's literally like having a conversation with a knowledgeable expert. What I love about what I've been able to develop with ChatGPT is not just a knowledgeable expert based on all the information on the internet, but it also is a knowledgeable expert on me and what's important to me and what I'm trying to get done. So when I'm talking to it to try to find out stuff, many times people are quite low on their expectations. Like we have to say, lift your expectations a little bit higher. It's not unreasonable for you if you're making $200,000 of total revenue in a small business to actually turn that $200,000 in total revenue into $200,000 in bottom line, right? So you might be doing $1 million of revenue. So that's 5 timesing yourself in 3 years' time. That's not unreasonable or unusual that can be done. Oftentimes it's people's lack of confidence that they can actually do that stuff. But once you start breaking that down into 12 quarters, and you do quarters, not months, because quarters are a larger thing that takes into account variables and so forth that you can look through and you can fit. And what we almost always say, and this kind of brings back to a little bit more about the, what many of the people that might be watching this might be thinking, is it brings that 3-year period, allows you to go, if I wanted to leave this business in 3 years' time, if I wanted to sell this business in 3 years' time, what do I need this business to look like? What do I want to sell it for? Right? So don't be the guy that gets in touch with Ronald when you want to sell your business. The week prior, you weren't thinking about selling it. The best thing for Ronald is that you've been preparing for this moment for the last 3 years. You've got it to a point where there's a lot of good things happening. And Ronald can look at it and maybe he can give you some adjustments, some ideas of how to like put the cherry on top. But you've got a lot of the way there. Because what is it that buyers want to see, Ronald? Maybe 3 years of revenue,
3 years of revenue, 3 years of your tax returns, and a stable, well-ran company. Right? There's it's not dependent on any one key person. There's a whole list of things we're looking for,
and a
right?
profit trajectory, right?
Yeah, like you're growing.
Not a profit dejectory.
I personally don't do turnarounds. There are a lot of people who do.
Ronald a little bit ago said something about one of the important things is the business not being attached to you not being important in the business, right? One of the ways to allow your staff to take on more roles in the company is by tracking the data, so they can look at it and they can make decisions. And more so, you can look at it and you can ask them questions about, well, what's happening here, what's happening there. They do the stuff, but you act more like the board member rather than the operator. And you can have an operator that's looking at the numbers, who's an employee, and then you're pulling yourself out of the company a little bit more. You're training your staff to look at what's important and what's going. So when I come along and I'm like interested in buying your business and I'm worried about the day you leave, I'm not so worried about it because nothing much is going to change apart from it's going to be a different person asking the question, which is what I want anyway. Right? Yeah. So that data and the final thing on that too is you can't improve stuff you don't track, right? You can't improve or you can't manage numbers that you don't track, right? So you want to double your income. You can't double it without tracking it.
Awesome. We will need to wrap this up. Let's do this. Give me 3 we do. It's over an hour here already. Yep. Give us 3 takeaways that if anybody was listening to this, you want them to walk away with. If they don't remember anything else, what would you want people to walk away with after hearing our show today?
All right. So first of all, I really want I want you to think about where you want to be in 3 years' time, regardless of whether or not you want to sell your business. I want you to behave like you're going to sell your business in 3 years. In 3 years' time, you can choose to sell it or not. It doesn't matter. But I will tell you right now, you do that, your business will be in a far better place and you'll be making a lot more money. So that's one. So know your numbers and know where you want to be. Because like I said, if you're looking out the window and if you're not looking out the window and you're looking at your center console, you're going to crash. But if you're looking out the window and you're driving to where you want to be, there's a good chance you'll get there. So know your numbers, know where you want to be. Second of all, build a team around you of experts. Hire the Ronald Skeltons, hire the Andy Seeleys and their knowledge base and their team of people. Because it's not just Ron that you're hiring, it's all the people that Ronald knows. Right?
Absolutely.
All of the people that, and it's the same with me. It's not just Andy you're hiring. It's all of his staff members. It's all of his network. It's everybody. So get these experts, get a sense of whether or not they're the right people for you, because just because I might be really good for somebody might not mean I'm good for everybody. And finally, what is the difference that you're making? So this is everything, and we haven't really spoken about this, but what is the grander impact that you're having? What are you trying to accomplish? If you get a really clear sense of why you're in business and what you're trying to do, and you team that up with a really great team to execute that, and you team that up with a really clear vision with numbers and metrics, you are going into magic land. And many businesses do one or two of those things. Very few do all three. And I think if you can do those three things, it's going to take you to a whole new level that you never even realize. And it's absolutely life-changing, not just for you, but possibly generations of your family.